This movie has gone through both development hell and just release hell and studio hell, and it's been so long since this movie was supposed to come out. I put it in my most anticipated movies list for 2018 and for 2019, and if I made one for 2020, it would have made it on that list as well. Because I don't know, when I first saw the trailer for this movie back in 2017, I got really excited for a horror movie in the X-Men universe, especially hot off the heels of Logan. All the hype of that movie and how excellent that film was. I was so excited for this movie, and of course it got pushed back because of reshoots, and then it got pushed back again because of the Disney Fox merger, and then it got pushed back again because of the entire coronavirus pandemic, and now it's finally being the first movie released back in theaters, which is kind of insane. So let's talk about it because I just watched it. That's right, I watched the new Mutants finally after so many years. This is honestly, if you count how many years of excitement I had for this movie, or excitement I had, or just curiosity I had for a movie, this one would be high up on my most anticipated movies of all time list because, like I said, I've been excited for this movie for 3 years, and now that I've finally seen it, it probably should have came out 3 years ago. This is a film that, is just kind of an anomaly. There's nothing else really like it in terms of the time that it's coming out and how separated it is from the franchise that it's a part of, and how just kind of upsetting it is to watch it knowing that nothing will ever come out of this besides this one film. And so this movie needs to stand on its own, which I do believe it does fairly decently on its own with its characters and with its story, but it also does want to be much more than that. This movie's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, and there's some elements in this film that I was not expecting whatsoever. And I'm just gonna say here, they were definitely planning on making more of these movies, but I highly, highly doubt this will ever come to fruition. So if we're judging this movie based on its own merits, it kind of felt like you didn't get exactly what you wanted out of this film because you were kind of looking for a continuation of it. But that being said, what did I think of this movie itself and the characters and the plot and everything like that? I do think the story is a little more generic. Like, it's not anything that we haven't seen before. There's some elements in terms of scares that reminded me of The Haunting of Hill House, just not nearly as expertly crafted. There's some elements that reminded me of Stranger Things. There's some elements that reminded me of, in a weird way, Glass. This movie really reminded me of Glass. And so nothing in this film was necessarily original, which was kind of the biggest upsetting part, besides the characters, which these are brand new X-Men characters that we've never seen before on the big screen, or any screen for that matter. And so in that way, I do think these characters were interesting to me because they have, some of them have a power set that I've never seen before, and so those were really interesting to me. So in terms of characters, in terms of their powers, I enjoyed that for the most part. And I don't think many people are expecting the main character of this film to be Blue Hunt, who plays Danny in this film. She is definitely the main character of this movie, not Maisie Williams, not Anya Taylor-Joy, not the guy from Stranger Things. It's really this character that's the main focus of this film, and I really enjoyed her character and her story throughout this movie. I thought her entire purpose of being in this movie and what she does to other characters and how she interacts with them, especially with her abilities, was very interesting. I do think it was kind of a missed opportunity because I do think in better writing hands, this movie could have had a lot more to do with her character, and it could have been a lot cooler, and they had a lot of potential with this person. And going on to future films, they really could have dived into her character a lot more, but within this film itself, I thought it was it's okay. She was really good. I think all the performances across the board were pretty solid, minus one or two. But this main character, I wish we had more time with her because I really enjoyed her power set, and I would like to see her in action more often than this one movie. And I think that's probably going to be my biggest downside to this entire film is I kind of want more from these characters, and I wish they were in a better film. Anya Taylor-Joy, I love her as an actress. She was so over the top in this movie. Her dialogue for the most part was extremely just corny, and it just didn't really work for me. She was over the top. Her accent was okay. And, she had a couple of cool moments, and she was definitely the most badass character out of all the characters. But I do think that they could have given her a lot more to do, especially with her backstory. That was very interesting, that I just wish we got more out of. Like I said, I saw a lot of elements from her backstory in other films, and they just did it better. And as for the rest of the cast, I think all the performances in this film are very solid. I enjoyed every single one of them for the most part. I just don't think anybody else is really fleshed out besides those characters, and Maisie Williams was a very good side character to Blue Hunt's character, and she didn't have the most backstory or the most to do besides just kind of be somewhat of the only friend that she has in this entire place is the relationship between Danny and her character. And so that was really the heart of the movie. And like I said, this movie really just kind of touches on all of this, and it doesn't really dive deep into these characters, which was, again, this movie needed to hold that on its own, needed to have these characters that really stuck together, and it just didn't for me. So I think overall, the story and everything and all the characters are definitely the most interesting part, because these are people that I've never met before, and because these are abilities I've never seen before for the most part. And that was the thing keeping me most interested in this film. However, the story is something that I've seen before. Did it do it terribly? No. Did it do it great? No. It was just kind of somewhere stuck in the middle. This movie in no way is a Logan. You know, Fox has done much better films than this, but unfortunately it's just not quite to that level. But is it an X-Men Dark Phoenix? Is it X-Men Origins? Is it, you know, the worst of the worst that they've made in this franchise? Absolutely not. This movie is fairly decent on that standard. It's not a fan four stick in any stretch of the imagination. Just this movie, it just kind of stuck in terms of where it's being released and how it's being released, and just the fact that we're never going to get more is just really upsetting. And it's just, this is a very missed opportunity. And in terms of its development, hell, I know they had a bunch of reshoots that they planned on doing, but apparently they never did the reshoots to make it more of like a young adult adaptation type movie feel. It's none of that's in there. It definitely tries to be a horror movie, and it's not really scary whatsoever. But at least it does have the original vision that the director had for this movie, although you can tell that they probably wanted to do some pickup shots and some reshoots to kind of fit scenes together, because it really does feel like you're in one scene and then there's really no transition whatsoever to get to the next scene and to get to the next part. There's some conversations that are being had across scenes, and there's wardrobe changes in between those scenes, yet it's the same conversation. It just kind of felt a little bit messy towards the beginning of the movie, although when it went on, it kind of got a lot cleaner. But I don't know, it just felt like something was missing from it in terms of that. So yeah, that is my review on New Mutants. It's very weird reviewing this movie because we've had such a large break between new releases, and now all of a sudden we're getting a movie that was supposed to come out several years ago. It's just kind of, it's really odd. I'm excited for Tenet. I'm going to go see it. I can't necessarily recommend you guys to go out into the theater for this film necessarily, unless you're super excited and want to see New Mutants and you're a big comic book fan, maybe. But I think maybe wait for Tenet, because I have trust in Nolan and he's my favorite director. So I don't know, cross our fingers for Tenet, but for now we have the New Mutants and it was just okay. So thanks guys for watching this video. Hope you guys subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Comment below what you guys thought of this movie if you decided to go see it, and I hope to see you all in the next one.